Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on this Halloween picture from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, and I'm going to be doing this little window. I've decided to do this one because I want to show how how you can make it look with the light coming through the window. Now the windows on this house I want to make look like there's light inside the house, and it's quite fun to get that effect. Now I'm going to be using Faber-Castell polychromos, and what I tend to do is start with a more orangey sort of colour and then move to lighter yellows, and I find that helps. Sometimes I leave a little bit of white in the middle as well. Sorry, I'm just sharpening my pencils while I natter. But this is quite a small window, so I'm going to start with my Cadmium Yellow. I was going to go with my dark one, but it's so tiny I can't tell you what the name is. So this is 107, and what I'm going to do is go around the edge of every little pane of glass with this colour. Now I'm going to start quite hard against where the black is, and then try and just shade it out a little bit. Now when you've got a really small window, it's quite difficult to apply several colours, and I might find that I don't actually use the cream on all of these panes because they're quite small. Now I'm going to do the same thing with every window on this page, so it looks similar, but I thought I'd show you this one in case you wanted some tips on how to do sort of light glowing out of windows. Now it's not just going to do the glass, I'm going to do the frame as well to just show you how I approach that. Now if you haven't got lots of different shades of yellow, you can just apply different pressure, so you can just start hard on the edge and then gently sort of scumble it in towards the middle with a lighter pressure, scumbling being a round and round movement, until you get the effect that you're looking for. But sometimes it can be nice to have a little orangey layer around the edge just to make it really stand out. I haven't got that, haven't got one out yet, but we'll see whether we need that or not. So that's my first layer, and then I'm going to use my light Cadmium Yellow to go inside. I'm just going to sharpen it a little bit because it's such a small piece, but you can already see how bright it looks, particularly because we've got this dark background which I haven't actually finished yet, but it makes it stand out more. But the colour of the window frame also has an impact on that. What you can see with this one is I'm just bringing it round into a sort of circle a little bit more. Now the window frames, if you do them darker, it makes everything stand out. You could just do it black. You know, this is a Halloween spooky picture, so a black window frame will probably fit in quite well, but I'm going to do it brown as if it's wood, just because I've got other things that I want to do black in the picture. I've got bats to do, and I'm going to put some black into the sky eventually if my plan pays off. We'll see. So that's all I'm doing for that one, and then I'm going with the cream. Now my plan is to leave a little white in the centre so it really looks very glowy, and this can be a good tip for anything you're doing really, is to leave a little bit of white if you're doing a metallics, particularly if you want to show some shine or anything like that, so leaving that little bit of white, and if you do it carefully it doesn't look like you've accidentally not coloured it, which is always a bit of a worry with white. Okay, so we're getting there with this all the way around all the windows, and it looks a little bit different in the camera to how it looks in real, but for me that's done. I'm happy with that. But now we need to look at the frame. Now as I said, I'm going to do some browns. I'm going to start with a lighter shade of brown. I'm going to use the Bistre, I think it's called, I'm not really sure, and do a light layer of that first, and then go in with the darker one. Now this is quite small, it's quite fiddly. Sometimes I use a smaller pencil for this, one that I can get sharper and that's a bit harder. So the Staedtler Ergosoft would be good, Prismacolor very thin, things like that, a harder pencil. But the polychromos aren't that soft, so they do tend to keep a good point. I should just have to sharpen them first. But for this bit, it's not so vital. It's the next stage that needs the sharp point, and you'll see why when we get there. Okay, now that's just a lot. I might go back over that later, but I'm just leaving it light at the moment. And now I'm taking my darker shade. I'm using the burnt umber. Either this or the walnut would be good. I'm just giving it a sharpen, sorry. And now I've got quite a sharp point on there. And what I'm going to do is go around every black mark that Johanna's made, go over it and bring it just very slightly in if I can, and do that all the way around the outside and then around each pane of glass. And I find it gives quite a nice effect, but you have a look and see what you think. And yeah, it's a little bit extra effort. Of course you could just go over all of it in this dark colour, but I find it's worth it. It makes I feel like it makes it look a bit more 3D, and also seems to make the windows glow a little bit more. But have a think about what you think, whether you think it makes that much of a difference. And you can see my line's getting a bit thick in places because of the angle that I'm colouring. And I feel it just makes the window frames look a bit nicer. And so I'll do that on this window frame up here as well, and around the door to make more match. And once I'm done with this, I will debate whether to add in another colour. And you can see I'm pressing quite hard because I really want to cover over that black. Oh, I've missed one out. Now I find this works for all sorts of buildings. It doesn't just have to be spooky buildings. Christmas buildings are quite nice too, to have this sort of glowing light through. It looks really welcoming, or little fairy houses, things like that. Okay, now I'm going to bring in that top a little bit. And do the same down the side. I don't know if you can see that very well. And this side. And underneath. And there we have our little glowing window. So, I hope that's helpful to you. And I'm now going to do all the rest of the windows on this page, and then think of what else I'm going to show you from this lovely Halloween page. So thank you for watching, and happy colouring.